Welcome to Talker Tickers, where we break down the earnings calls that are really moving the needle. And today, oh man, we are diving into Webtoon. The company just dropped a Q2 report that was, well, it was a bombshell, and it sent the stock into an entirely different orbit. Let's get right into it.
You know, most earnings reports are pretty standard stuff. A beat here, a miss there, but sometimes you get an event. And Webtoon's latest release, yeah, that was an event. So what on earth just happened to cause this kind of explosion? Okay, check this out. After the bell, following their Q2 announcement, Webtoon's stock, that's ticker WBTN, it didn't just go up, it absolutely launched. We are talking an 81.2% surge in a single day. The stock rocketed from $9.36 all the way to $16.96. I mean, a move like that, it just begs the question, why?
And it wasn't just the price. Look at the volume here. It went from a pretty normal 1.3 million shares to over 15 million shares the very next day. That is more than a tenfold increase. This wasn't just a few investors getting excited. This was a tidal wave of interest, from big institutions to retail, all piling in at once. So let's unpack the numbers that got everyone's attention.
So, the first piece of this puzzle is a classic earnings beat. But this wasn't just any beat. This one blew the doors off expectations and really set the stage for the fireworks that followed.
All right, look at these numbers, because the beat here is just massive. The street was expecting an adjusted loss of 14 cents per share, but Webtoon, they delivered a profit of 7 cents per share. I mean, that's a huge swing from deep in the red to solid black that basically nobody saw coming. Revenue also came in hot at over $348 million, sailing past the $340 million consensus. This wasn't just a good quarter, it was a total blowout.
And when we dig into that revenue, you see solid growth pretty much everywhere. But the real superstar, the one that tells the bigger story, was IP adaptations. It surged by almost 42% year over year. Now this is so important because it's a huge signal that their strategy of taking these webcomics and turning them into shows, movies, you name it, it's working. But still, even a quarter of this good doesn't explain an 81% jump. There was something else, the real catalyst.
And here it is. This is where the story goes from a great earnings beat to a potential game changer. Tucked into the earnings call was a blockbuster announcement, the kind of strategic partnership that can totally redefine a company and make every single investor lean in a little closer. Webtoon announced a massive, multi-year deal with Disney. Yeah, we're talking over 100 iconic comics from Marvel, from Star Wars, from 20th Century Studios, even Disney classics. All of them are being reformatted for Webtoon's vertical scroll style. So just imagine scrolling through The Avengers or a classic Star Wars story on your phone. Plus, they're co-developing brand new stories based on this IP. This is an incredible stamp of approval for Webtoon's platform and its powerful connection with Gen Z.
And here is the absolute key quote from management. The CFO, David Lee, he made it crystal clear this is a long-term strategic play. What he's telling us is don't look for a quick pop in Q3 revenue from this. No. This is about fundamentally reshaping the future of the company by linking up with the biggest IP owner on the entire planet. This is a long game.
Okay, so you've got this incredible earnings beat, you've got this monster Disney deal in your back pocket, so the forecast for next quarter must be amazing, right? Well, this is where things get really interesting, and it tells you exactly how management is thinking right now. Let's decode the guidance.
So check out this contrast. On one side, you have a really strong revenue forecast for Q3. They're projecting accelerating growth of between 9 and 12%. Awesome. But then you look at the profit margin guidance, and it's pretty conservative, landing somewhere between just 0.5% and 1.8%. So what gives? Why is that top line growing so fast while the bottom line looks so skinny?
Well, management basically told us they called it a proactive strategic decision. And what that really means is they are pressing the accelerator to the floor. They see this moment, the momentum from the great quarter, the excitement from the Disney deal, and they are choosing to plow that money right back into the business. More marketing, better products, all to aggressively grow their user base, especially right here in the US. They're sacrificing some profit today for what they hope will be market domination tomorrow.
All right, so let's recap. We have a massive stock surge fueled by a surprise profit, a partnership that's a total game changer, and a crystal clear strategy to reinvest for growth. So as analysts, how do we put this all together into a forward-looking view? It's time to talk about the next call.
So given that this Disney catalyst is a long-term story, and the company is in a heavy investment phase right now, just buying the stock might not be the most efficient way to play it.
This leads us to a more structured idea, something called a 1-by-2 call spread. In simple terms, it's a way to bet on the stock going up significantly over time, but you do it for a very low cost, or sometimes even for a small credit up front.
So here's a plausible trade idea for you. You could look way out to the January 2027 options, giving this whole IP strategy plenty of time to mature. The idea would be to buy one call option at the $30 strike price, which captures the upside if the stock keeps running. But at the same time, you'd sell 2 call options at a higher strike, say $45. The cash you get from selling those 2 options helps pay for, or maybe even completely covers, the cost of the one you bought. It's a structure that lets you profit handsomely if the stock makes a big move up toward that $45 mark. A pretty smart way to play the long-term story.
So, putting it all together, what's our official rating on this? Based on the fantastic Q2, that transformative Disney deal, and a clear, aggressive strategy to invest for the future, our rating for Webtoon is outperform. We believe this company is making a successful leap from being just a content platform to becoming a true IP-rich entertainment powerhouse. And we think there's significant upside ahead.
You know, the market has clearly bought into this new story, right? They rewarded the long-term vision over any short-term profit concerns. But the big question we're left with is this. By partnering with the biggest storytellers in the world, is Webtoon actually writing its own fairy tale ending? Or is the challenge of executing on this grand vision a lot bigger than investors realize right now?
And just as a final reminder, this analysis is for informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. You should always do your own deep dive research and talk to a professional before making any investment decisions. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers.